Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about how a VPN works. And in the next episode, after this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up your own private VPN. Now, let's understand first what a VPN is before we actually learn to set it up. And that's the point of this video. So, I believe that we should be able to access whatever information that we want, whether we live in a country with heavy censorship or not, right? So that's why I want to make this video. And the next one, I want to educate everybody on the technology that will allow you to access what it is that you want. And the only way that we really have freedom nowadays is to be aware, is to be educated, and to know what it is we're doing, because there are all kinds of people out there, like the government, who are trying to censor, who are trying to spy on us. So if we're a step ahead of them, we can be out of that circle. We can not be a victim. We can make ourselves the solution to the problem rather than being the victim, right? So that's why I want to make this video. So let's first understand how we connect to the internet. Every country in the world, well, most countries in the world have what we call an ISP. So the ISP is the internet service provider. So they're the ones who provide internet to our computer, right? So we connect to them, and they are basically the gateway that allows us to access all the servers that we want. So they act as our internet gateway. So what is an internet gateway? Well, as the name suggests, it's just a pathway for you to get through to have access to the global network. And the global network is where YouTube, Facebook, and all those apps and sites that you love live. So we need to use this internet gateway to access those servers. Now, what happens if the government decides to tell the ISP that certain websites should not be accessible, right? So, for example, we have a firewall here, and it's blocking access to certain websites. And, we just can't see those websites anymore because of the firewall. So what can you do? And here's where the virtual private network comes in, right? So what can a VPN be used for? Well, it can be used to allow us to access content that is geographically restricted. So for example, if you're living in a country that's not the US and you want to access content like Netflix or Hulu, a VPN will allow you to do that. Or if you want to access content that is censored in a country that you're living in, you can do that with a VPN. And you can also be anonymous online, which means if the government wants to spy on you, the VPN will protect you from that. Right? Because the data that's being passed through from the VPN to your computer is secure. Nobody can understand or read that flow of data, right? Only you can. So let's say, for example, we live in a country with restrictive internet, right? The government has decided that you can't go on Facebook anymore just because they feel like it, right? So you're connected to the ISP, but then there's a firewall, and the firewall has blocked all those websites for you, right? So what we do is we set up this VPN, right? The VPN is basically represented by the green circle on the left-hand side. So what kinds of VPNs are there? There are free solutions, so you can get a free VPN, but I highly don't recommend that because you're going to be sharing your bandwidth and their CPU resource and all that kind of stuff with a lot of people because it's free, so more people are going to use it. The other solution is to pay for a service, a VPN service. So you can go and you can Google VPN service and you can pay a subscription. They have all kinds of prices now, $4 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or whatever it is that you want to pay for. And the quality of service will obviously vary based on the price and the quality of the people who run the private network, right? The virtual private network. But there's a third option, right? The third option is to set up your own, right? There's a lot of disadvantages to using a public VPN or a paid service, and some of those disadvantages can be overcome with having your own private VPN, right? Even if you're using a paid service, you're still sharing that computing resources with a lot of people because it's a paid service. Anybody can have access to it. Now, another another disadvantage of using something which is publicly available is your government can block it at any time, right? So in some countries, certain VPN services are blocked, so you can't use them. Having your own private VPN and knowing how to set up your own VPN server is by far the best way to go about it, in my opinion. And that's what I use at our office in Kodami. So how it works is basically you connect to your VPN, right? Because your VPN is completely harmless, it is not recognized by the government, it's just some random server sitting somewhere doing nothing for nobody. Because it's not blocked by the firewall, you can connect to the VPN bypassing the firewall. Well, it goes through the firewall, but the firewall doesn't care because there's nothing going on in that server. Now, instead of accessing the servers directly, instead of going to Facebook or YouTube or Google or whatever directly, you're now using your VPN as your internet gateway, right? So what does that mean? It means you control your own destiny now because you're now past that firewall. You can now access whatever site you want. You control the gate. You're the gatekeeper now, so nobody can come and block your VPN as long as you have access to your VPN, right? So now we can access all the websites. And basically, that's how a VPN works, right? You bypass the connection on the firewall, and then you connect to all the services that you want through your VPN, right? I hope that was clear. Share this video with your friends and family. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. Let me know why you dislike the video. In the next episode, I'm going to be showing you guys how to set up your own private VPN.